In this series, I'm going to tell you the dynamics. I'm going to go over the performance. BMW of Wesley Chapel gives us the 2023 BMW 530i in Alpine White over Cognac Interior Syntec. Comparison to a Mercedes, an Audi, or a Genesis, and take you on a test drive to show you what the 5 is all about. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The BMW 530i starts off with its striking pose, which are LED headlamps and daytime runnings. Gloss black is going to be on the lower with the chrome integrated, and with your kidney grille, you're going to get the chrome surrounding for your active grille. I do like the proportion layouts. I kind of wish that they put a larger grille to the 5, only because it would make it look a little bit more dynamic than the 3. The more funny thing is the weight distribution in this at 50.9, 49.1 is better than an M550i or even an M5. So when you're looking at, well, it's just a base vehicle, this actually has better dynamics than a $100,000 vehicle, even if you're looking at the Mercedes, the Audi, or the Genesis. Set with these 19-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading behind it at 13.7 inches, it's ventilated. 13 inches the rear, it's ventilated. A double wishbone front suspension, multi-link rear suspension, both the front and the rear. We'll have your coil springs and your anti-roll bars. Dynamic traction control. Length at 195.8 inches with a wheelbase at 117.1 inches. What I like about the 5 is you get the classic style of a longer sedan opposed to the 3. So that's going to implement a little bit more leg space for the rear occupants and a little bit more cargo, but it doesn't take away from the drive because of how dynamic it is. And taking it back to the comparison, whether it's a Mercedes, Audi, or Genesis, this is going to be a touch longer. LED tail lamps on the bottom. You still get the dual exhaust outlet, so it keeps that heritage of a sedan and a fun to drive spirit on the exterior. Power trunk lid going inside to nearly 14 cubic feet of storage. You got some storage on both sides with your 12-volt charger tucked right here. Split fold the rear bench in the back at a 40-20-40 split. That's going to increase the cargo to this sedan twin power turbo BMW. Let's go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. I don't have the keys. Try this, take 2. Unfortunately, with any turbo 4-cylinder, it's not going to be that throaty in the back, but underneath a $50,000 price point, how much performance are you looking? Well, BMW backs it. BMW twin power turbo inline 4-cylinder, producing 248 horsepower and 257 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed sport automatic transmission with sport and manual shift modes, achieving 25 to 33 mpgs, a 0 to 60 at 5.9 seconds, a top speed up to 155 miles per hour, quarter mile under 14 seconds. Now these numbers, it's going to come out to being faster than the Mercedes-Benz, which that price point is a little bit less than this, but you're getting a faster 0 to 60 and quarter mile. It's going to be slower than the Audi A6 and the A7. The more funny thing though is you can compare this to an A7. The price MSRP is over $70,000. Just think of the savings that you're getting. It's going to be a little bit slower than the Genesis G80. That one will be the least expensive, but the dynamics is also where it's at. This is going to be a lot better in your weight distribution. Plus you still got the power underneath it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 BMW 530i sedan as we go inside, go over the tech, and take this for our drive. When you enter inside a 5 Series, unlike a 3 Series, it's going to sit up a little bit more, so it makes it a little bit easier for taller people. Headroom at 40.7 inches, legroom at 41.7 36.4 inches. Cognac perforated Syntec seat, 16-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 12-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. They're heated and ventilated. The door panel and dashboard gets the ambient lighting with the wood trim, satin aluminum all around with the gloss black in the center, and your more traditional dashboard layout for the 530i. Heads-up display complemented with your 12.3 touchscreen with navigation. We got the pinch and the swipe. When you click onto the home button, you'll see we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. You also have your driver mode select, which you can tailor this individually for the configuration to make it as sport-derived as you like for the steering, engine, and transmission. Put it into reverse. You got a reverse camera with full trajectory, front and rear parking sensors. When you click onto this little icon here, you can configure it to just show your parking sensors. Working underneath, you have your dual climate control settings. The wood inlays opens up to a wireless charging pad, a USB, and a 12 volt. Your cup holders, I would say a 20 ounce will be max. Going into your gear lever with the gloss black, your driver mode select panel, and your iDrive. It's going to be more sport derived. Open up inside, smaller storage pocket with a USB-C. Steering wheel is multi-function. You get the paddle shifters and you get that satin aluminum that goes into the gauge cluster. That's a 12.3 digital reader. You can change the layout whenever you change the modes, or you can simply click into the BC on the stock. It'll change everything on the tachometer side. The ambient lighting, like we said, goes right into the Harman Kardon upgraded sound system. The Cognac interior comes with a more sporty for your elbows. I do like the grab handle because it makes it look more sporty. One touch up and down in the memory seat functionality. With your Harman Kardon right underneath it, and the storage pocket's long, but it tapers off into the back. For the back seats, headroom is not going to be an issue. Leg space at 36.5 inches. At 6'3", it's not bad at all. And that's why you option a 5 Series. So you get more leg space and cargo capacity instead of going into the 3. 2 USB-C ports and a 12 volt with 2 tiers of storage, your climate control vents, storage behind both of the front seats. The door panel starts off with the ambient lighting all around the wood and the satin aluminum. More sport derived for your elbows, one touch up and down for the windows. The Harman Kardon comes into the back with a larger storage pocket. Sitting into the center, headroom is kind of an issue. Leg space is as well. Feet, butt, and shoulder space isn't necessarily too bad. Because it's a 5 Series, you're gonna have a little bit more space, but because the floor isn't completely flat, it makes it a little bit less desirable for somebody at 6'3". 248 horsepower, 257 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 5.9 seconds. Look at this baby. In a weight distribution, nearly 50-50. It's 50.9, 49.1, which is better than any variant in its price category. Look, it just hugs the road. It's a twin scroll turbocharged, 4-cylinder, 2.0 liter, good on gas. You're gonna have some fun with it. Just one thing, you don't really hear the exhaust note at all when you get into this price tier. You really have to jump it up a game. When you get into like the M550i, you'll start hearing it, but that's a twin turbo V8, so night and day difference in performance, and also the price will escalate pretty much double to what this is. All around value, it is good. It puts itself in a segment that it can match cars that are $70,000 like an A7. It's not going to beat it in performance, but for the drive, for the luxury, and for everyday use, this is where you want to go, and you can save some money. Give her a go. Now this is faster than the Mercedes-Benz. Now it's gonna take me to some things I like and dislike. Starting off with what I like is the weight distribution in this is better than an M550i, better than an M5 or even the competition. And this is the least expensive 5 that you can get. That is insane for a fun to drive Spirit. The second thing that I like is this has the most cargo capacity in all of its class, plus you have the most storage capacity in the door panels. Because this isn't a slope roofline, you have more headroom than the Audi. To do a brake check, Nothing on this is in performance, by the way. The last thing that I like is how BMW incorporates itself. Whether you do the 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7, all of the sculpting lines on the exterior are going to more or less mimic itself, has that box elegant structure and yet aerodynamic. Three things that I dislike: the sun visor, when you put it, you can't put it all the way because of the way the trim is for the headliner. Taking me to the second thing that I dislike is the panel for your sport, comfort, and eco is one panel. Yes, when you push the button, it actually works for sport, comfort, and eco. However, I could see this later on down the road where it would just kind of push all of them because of the way you would be pushing it quickly. The last thing that I dislike, I know I said I like the styling of the exterior, but because this is a longer variant, I kind of wish they would have used the larger kidney grille because it's a little bit smaller. It comes up onto the hood, very sleek, just it looks very close to a 3 Series, and when I'm getting a 5, I do want to have a little bit difference in the front sculpting, because if I go from a 2 to a 3, you'll notice on the bottom that you'll get air pockets in the center underneath that kidney grille. In eco mode, and the nice thing about that weight distribution, as you saw, people trying to turn lanes without turning on indicators, and you're going that same route, you can easily go back. The steering wheel has a little bit of weight to it, but for the most part, it's pretty artificial. So an easy everyday drive. The length, it's a longer vehicle. Going back to the rivals, the A6 is an awesome vehicle, especially if you go into an A7. It looks even more elegant because that is a hatchback, so you will have a lot more cargo capacity. But when you get into the A6, you're losing that interior space for legroom and cargo capacity, so this one will beat it in that area. It will lose in the performance side. When you go into the Mercedes, it's going to be about the same thing. The cargo is going to be a little bit less, the interior space is going to be a little bit more tight, and it's also slower in performance than this. Looking for an everyday blend of everything, BMW takes the cake with it. Yes, it's not going to be the fastest, and it's the more expensive variant than pretty much all of the competition. Mercedes will be the second most expensive. The interior, though, you're going to notice that it's going to be quiet. It's not going to be so bumpy, and these are upgraded wheels. So for a long journey, you got 16-way power seat adjustment. You're not going to get that many seat adjustments when you get into inexpensive variants, especially when you go into the Genesis line. And to take it up a notch, to go to an A7, that costs MSRP over $70,000. You can nearly buy a his and her of this. Turn radius at a stop point is going to get about 2 in a part lane. It's a longer vehicle. Let's rock and roll. And this is that fun to drive. You're running late to the airport. You got to pick up the kids from school. You got to go to soccer practice. You got to do something. You can do all of that. And you have the cargo capacity and a near perfect 50-50 weight distribution. I like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 BMW 530i sedan for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise, the Instagram, and the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.